So far, we have had 8 seasons in charge of Montego Bay United in our Building a Nation of Jamaica, and in those 8 seasons, we have been the best team statistically in the league by winning it 5 times. We have got to the final 5 times. We have won the league once. We have won it once. And it's not even recent. It was 4 seasons ago is when we won the league. In Season 9, can we win the league again? Not only that, we are the defending champions of the Caribbean Cup. In fact, we have won this twice in the 8 seasons we have been in charge of Montego Bay United. Can we do that back to back? Ideally, going forward, maybe from Season 10 onwards, we should be winning the Caribbean Cup every single season, because if we're not, we are going to kind of struggle to build the nation of Jamaica. The other thing, obviously, we are in the JFF Cup. Obviously, this is last season's what happened here, but we are hopefully going to be winning that one. Just in case you weren't aware, the JFF Cup, we have won this 2 times, maybe 3, 2 times over the last 8 seasons as well. We don't win a huge amount of things, but we probably should be. Anyway, then, at the start of the season, obviously, transfer window is open. We have done no business as of yet. We've got £16,870 in the bank. A little bit of wage budget to spend, but probably not going to be doing too much transfers because, let's face it, what real business can we do? So now we're on the 4th of September, the transfer window has slammed shut. A bit of business has taken place. One transfer, which could be interesting. We'll get to that in just a moment. Fidel Thirlwell has left the club, moving over to Humble Lion. He has gone on a small deal, £2,200. For even less money, Lennox Clough has moved over to Rivoli United for about £700. Ryan Harris has gone out on loan to Portmore United for actually £6,000, which is a lot of money for a player who's not going to stay at that club. And Edison has moved back to his native Brazil, signing for CHA, which is, I can never remember their name. He's signed for CHA. He's gone there for not a lot of money, £1,200, has been loaned back to us for the season, and we do have a sell-on in there. Unfortunately, the sell-on is only 30% of his next transfer fee, but 30% of £1 million is better than 0% of £1 million. So it's probably okay. I don't think this is the one that's going to make us rich. Along with Edison joining the club or returning to the club, Alex Fowler has joined on a free transfer. A 22-year-old central midfielder brought in more for squad depth because basically he got released and I thought, you know what, he might have some potential. He's still only young. And we have also brought in a backup goalkeeper in the shape of Twain Lynch, formerly of Dunbeholden, played a lot of times for them last season. He's obviously not going to be good enough to play first-team football, but he should be good enough to maybe hold a space on the bench for a few seasons. I always forget to mention this, by the way. We have released a few players, so the big name here is Bashmi Joseph, the Haitian international who's played 149 league games for us, has left on a free transfer after his contract expired. He wasn't worth keeping around because he was never going to become Jamaican. He was using up one of our non-Jamaican spots, so I kind of felt like it was time to move him on. Scott Gordon has also left on a free transfer because he's not very good, and Craig Markland has also left on a free transfer signing for Volvo United because he's not very good. And one other thing to mention before we talk about how things have started off in the Caribbean Cup, we have folded and we've gone to the 4-2-3-1 formation that I've used for most of my saves in FM24 because I like it, it works, and I feel like playing the 4-2-4, or the 4-4-2, that we were playing, I think probably was starting to hold us back a little bit. So, changing formation hopefully will change our fortunes as well. Maybe we might win the Jamaican Premier League. We should win the Caribbean Cup as well. From a competitions perspective, we have kicked off the Caribbean Cup and we are currently sat second in the group. Somehow, I don't know how, I assume it's on alphabetical order because we have won twice with a positive 11 goal difference. AC Pos have won twice with a positive 2. We have beaten Arashi, maybe 3-0, and Pantoja 8-0. I feel like we're getting out of the group stage without any problems. And I guess the next thing that we need to do then is just jump forward to just around about Christmas time. Once that transfer window reopens, obviously no business is going to take place, but the entirety of the Caribbean Cup will, so we'll return, and hopefully we've picked up another trophy for the cabinet. So on Boxing Day 2033, we have returned and we have once again picked up the Caribbean Cup. So we are back-to-back champions of the Caribbean Cup. We have obviously qualified for the North American Champions League. I'm not going to show you the goals because basically in the second leg we actually lost 3-1, but in the first leg we did win 4-0, meaning we pip Montego Bay, that's us, Mount Pleasant FC, to the post to win the Caribbean Cup, but they also do qualify for the North American Champions League, along with third place Caledonia United from Trinidad and Tobago. Elsewhere in the Jamaican Premier League, our formation change seems to be doing wonders. We are currently top of the table, 10 wins, 2 draws, 0 defeats, positive 37 goal difference. Andy Stravic is up there with 7 goals scored for us, 7 in 5 cup games and 8 league games, so 14 in 13 starts so far this season. He's wanted. He's wanted by teams in China. Maybe we don't want to do that. Also, Colin Hernandez up there with 7 goals as well. Just 2 of them coming in the Caribbean Cup. So 9 in 12 starts for him. He's rubbish, but he's starting to get better because he's now getting that game time now that Bashmi Joseph has left the club. It is also obviously a transfer window. The window has literally just opened because it is midnight on the 26th of December. So we're still probably celebrating Christmas at the moment. Not sure whether we're going to be doing any business, or if we are, it's not going to be a huge amount likewise earlier. Like at the start of the season, 18,000 transfer budget, a little bit of wage budget to spend. Maybe we can make a deal with CHA to maybe get that sell-on sold for like £100,000. Maybe that could be helpful for us. I don't know. And just like that, we jump 1 month into the future. It's now the 26th of January, and we've only done one bit of transfer business, and it is Marcos Enrique leaving the club, signing for ATP, which is Atletico Paranense, maybe, could be their name. He has obviously returned to his native Brazil, and he's gone for not a lot of money, £1.6 thousand. But as part of this deal, we do get a friendly against ATP. I'm not sure whether that's going to be any helpful for us, but hopefully it might give us a little bit of money, and 20% sell on there. So we might get a little bit of kickback from this in the future. If he turns into a half-decent footballer, chances are the players that we're signing at the moment, looking kind of into, not looking into the code, but kind of behind the scenes, out of the potential of, say, 200, he might have 130 at best. We're not going to be getting those superstars, or if we are, it's going to be very few and far between. I feel like of the two, Edison was the one more likely going to be a bit more of a better player. So if Edison, in about 2, 3, 4 seasons' time, moves to a team in Portugal for £200,000 or whatever, we're obviously going to get some of that money back. I feel like Marcos Enrique is just going to disappear playing for ATP. Because obviously we didn't do any transfer business, we have actually got a little bit of wage budget now come back to us and a bit of transfer budget, but we are still very much in the red. From a fixtures perspective, we are still top of the table. 14 wins now to our name. Lots and lots of goals scored, which is good. Positive 47 goal difference, which is more than our points, which is ridiculous. We are starting the North American Champions League soon, obviously going into round 2. Who will we be up against? It will be Orlando City or Querétaro from Mexico. I mean, either one would be fine. Do we need to pay attention to facilities? 25,500, and this one here, I feel like they're going to play someone massive, aren't they? 38. Yeah, can we play these? Because then if there's a sellout, we get a huge sum of money coming our way. Just seen as well, Andy Stravic, 16 goals now. Admittedly, he's lost the the Caribbean Cup goals, but he's got 8 league goals to his name so far. If we do, where are they? Oh, so they are here. So Continental, we've got the 7 goals there from the Caribbean Cup, 16 in all competitions. We are looking good, obviously, because of the change in formation. We are going to be scoring a fair amount, a few more goals. So Strabic, top goal scorer. Second is Ian Watson, which is kind of a surprise. I guess playing in that attacking midfield role, he is going to get a lot of chances, score a lot of goals. Did come through our youth intake in 2027. So he's been one of our players since the start of the save for us. Colin Hernandez also in double figures with 10 goals as well. Edison's only got 9. Maybe we're not going to miss him. Anyway, let's jump forward then to the next part of the save, which will be after our youth intake comes in and the regular season has been played. And obviously, we will have played maybe 1 or 2, I think 1 or 2 North American Champions League games. So then, in the Jamaican Premier League, we have finished with an invincible record. 20 wins, 6 draws, 0 defeats, positive 62 goal difference, 66 points on the board. I feel like that might be our best. Arnett Gardner's got 67 last year. They got 67 last year. I mean, that's probably... The fact that that's not the best is really kind of annoying because we've gone undefeated. The first time anyone's gone undefeated in this save at the very least. And we haven't broken the points record, which is annoying. But obviously we are into the kind of the playoff final nonsense mess thing. Speaking of playoff final nonsense mess thing, we managed to get past Querétaro of Mexico in the second round of the North American Champions League. Our most successful time ever in the North American Champions League. We then do fall at the next stage in the quarterfinal against America, the team who are the current defending champions, one of the best teams, if not the best team from Mexico in this save. So, things are improving. We have managed to get a team from Jamaica to the quarterfinal of the North American Champions League. Season 10 might be our year. Probably won't be, but it could be. We've also got youth candidates coming through. 2 players that I'm going to take a look at. We've got Ronaldo Buchanan, who I think looks pretty good. He can't finish which is a bit of a concern, but mentally he's got some decent numbers. Determination of 15 is good. Teamwork of 17, work rate of 14, obviously very, very good. Personality of unambitious is not particularly good, but he's only 16, and let's face it, when we're looking at potential out of 200, if he's got 130, he's going to be an absolute superstar playing for us. It doesn't really matter too much about his personality at the moment. But the one I'm most excited for is Alwyn Buckner, 16 years old, attacking midfielder. He doesn't look much at the moment, but he's got 5-star potential apparently according to the coach. Technically, he's got some decent numbers. Dribbling's not too bad at 12 along with his technique. He's got 8 first touch. Doesn't sound particularly high, but bump these numbers up by 2 or 3 and all of a sudden he's going to look like a pretty decent footballer. But what excites me about Buckner is his mental numbers with his 15 determination, 16 teamwork, very good numbers. 16 flair, love it. 17 natural fitness. I mean, he's not really a physical animal, but that natural fitness, I imagine, means he could probably run for weeks and weeks and weeks. I might force play Buckner. You never know. It's also going to be a swan song the next little bit of the season for Ederson. He has suddenly turned up in the second part of the season. 22 goals now in all competitions. If we go to here, it is technically 24 once you include his Caribbean Cup goals as well. So Ederson has suddenly kicked into gear. Stravic is second top scorer with 19. Watson is third with 17. Hernandez is fourth with 13. And Mikel Campbell is fifth with 11. I feel like he's been playing as a right back. That's a lot of goals for a right back to be scoring. Anyway then, next thing to do is to jump to the end of the season. Will we be lifting the trophy? Will it be the second time ever our Montego Bay United side lift the Jamaican Premier League? I do not know what to say. I genuinely do not know what to say. We have been dominant. Absolutely dominant. We have been undefeated for the entire season and we lose on penalties. We didn't even lose the final after 90 minutes or even extra time, but we lose on penalties. Who was the man to ruin it for us? Who was the man to mess the penalty up? It was Ederson, like he cared anymore. He's leaving the club. And Walters as well. I mean, Walters, he's got 5 penalty taken. Admittedly, no one's going to have massively high penalty taken, but taking penalty number 2 with 5 out of 20 is not good. I guess it also doesn't help that we did get dropped down to 10 men just at the end of the first half. So we played 45 minutes, or more than 45 minutes actually, with just 10 men, and Ederson scored a goal that was disallowed as well. But at least we won the JFF Cup, is what I would like to have said. However, we lose 5-4 against Mount Pleasant FC. It's ridiculous, isn't it? We're never going to win anything. We could play the best tactic in the world against the worst teams in the world, and we will not win the trophies that we want to be winning. We're not winning the Jamaican Premier League. We're not winning the Jamaican Football Federation Cup. We are winning the Caribbean Cup, though, so I guess that is something. So all in all, in Season 9, we've won nothing. We've been the runners-up twice. I mean, I say nothing. We did win the Caribbean Cup. I need to remember that is a thing. It just doesn't appear here because of the way it kind of straddles and whatnot. But we won the Caribbean Cup and then finished second place to Mount Pleasant FC in both the domestic competitions. However, silver lining, mainly brought on by the North American Champions League. We've got £200,000 in the bank. I think it's the North American Champions League that's done this. So this season, we've got 2 million worth of gate receipts. Last season was 850,000. So that is clearly making a massive, massive impact for us, getting all those tickets. Can we see, actually? So the team in Mexico, away, 28,000 people turned up for that. 76,000 people turned up for the America game. That's where the money came from. Imagine, like, you just assume we got £76,000 for that. That's a big bump in money. We'd probably get 2 or 3 times that. So we might have even got around like £150,000-200,000 just for that America game from the ticket sales. That's madness. We probably would have got maybe about 80,000-90,000 for that one. So basically getting far in the North American Champions League is likely to help us financially, even if we don't win the games. Playing against big teams from Mexico or the USA, playing in their massive stadiums that they seem to have, and then hopefully selling them out will just help us out financially, which maybe that also, it's not that it's not a game plan, but maybe that's something we need to keep an eye on if we're not getting the player sales to kind of generate us some funds. As we begin Season 10, we say a fond farewell to Ederson. Obviously, we signed him a couple of years ago, scored 28 league goals, returned back to the club after signing for CHA in Brazil, and scoring another 19 league goals. When we actually look at the proper numbers, it's a lot more than that. So, Season 1 was 22 goals, Season 2 was 17, Season 3 was 27. I'm not going to do the maths, but that's a lot of goals scored by one player. But unfortunately, he has gone. And at the start of Season 10, we obviously have not done any transfer business just yet. We are able to sell this clause for £13,000, which we're obviously not going to do. But the fact, this is kind of, I think I've mentioned this a few times before, that if we get a player who goes to like a big team in England, like goes, or not even a big team, just like like an Everton or someone like that, and they're worth £10 million once they sign for Everton, we can negotiate a sell-on and get £4 or $5 million out of that, hopefully. So that's kind of a long-term game plan. It's not going to happen anytime soon, I don't think. Obviously, in Season 9, we were runners-up in most things, but we did win the Caribbean Cup. Season 10, I want to win everything. North American Champions League as well. Why not? Let's aim for the stars, and we might hit the moon. Or is the saying, shoot for the moon and you might hit the stars? I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're going to try and aim to win everything. Obviously, we have changed our tactic to a somewhat cheaty tactic, I think is what some people would like to call it. I just think it's a good tactic, okay? If it works in game, it's not cheating. So then, without further ado, let's jump forward to the end of the first transfer window. The Caribbean Cup will have kicked off and some transfer business will hopefully have happened as well. Wait, I've just seen, because of that money, we've got... So last season, how much did we bring in the end? So it was 2 million, but because of that money that we've got £654,000 now in the bank, we've got a transfer budget. We've never had a transfer budget. Our wage budget is £15,000 a week. Oh, this could be an interesting summer. And on the 10th of September, it was an interesting summer. However, you'll see the transfers in is a nice 0. We jump to next season. We technically haven't brought anyone in this season. These came in technically last season. Lots and lots of players on free transfers. But we have no money left. In fact, we are now in debt. And that is because if we have a look at the expenditure this season, we've spent £856,000 on ground maintenance and £185,000 on youth setup. Which means what we've actually done is we are increasing our youth facilities, we are increasing our training facilities, and we have actually managed to increase our junior coaching budget, which is obviously something you really want to be doing when you're trying to build a nation, because if you haven't got the best youth recruitment in the country, you're not going to get the best players from that nation. So we are starting to properly put in the work for that. It does mean, though, that all of that money that we did have in the bank has now just immediately disappeared, and we haven't really done too much with it. But we still technically have the transfer budget and the wage budget. We're not going to use it. Let's take a look at the players that have joined the club, because there are quite a few. I would tell you the ones that have left, but I don't think anyone's really particularly interesting. 4 players there leaving on permanent deals. Everyone else has gone out on loan. We're just going to work our way down the list, aren't we? Damien Tufton is the first man on this list. 25 years old. Jamaican central midfielder, signed formerly of Portmore United on a free transfer, coming in as an important player. Maybe not be the most important player, but he will get a fair amount of game time for us. Kaheem Dixon, next up, 29-year-old striker. Obviously, we no longer have Ederson. We need somebody to fill those shoes. Is Kaheem Dixon that man? Who knows? Next up, we've got ourselves a reasonable central defender in the shape of Malik Robinson, 27 years old. He's got 1 under-20 cap for Jamaica, formerly of Chapeltown Maroons. He's all right, isn't he? I think his 3-star current ability, not going to get too much better. We've also got this man here. We'll come back to him because he's quite clearly not Jamaican, is he? Orlando Lewis, next up. He is a 23-year-old Jamaican centre-back. I quite like the look of him. I think I prefer him to the last centre-back that we had a look at, but his current ability is slightly less. And then we have 4 players who are quite clearly not Jamaican. I say quite clearly not Jamaican. They might be, but we're going to work our way down them yet. First, Alexander Yesayan, who is an Armenian striker. He was hopefully going to be my Ederson replacement, and then I went, maybe we can loan him out and hopefully boost some other teams in the nation to do so. He has gone to Boys Town on loan. Next up, Nicholas Kwabena. Kwabena's good. Kwabena might be the best player we've ever had playing for Montego Bay United. 20 years old, Ghanaian under 23 international, 4.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. I think he could be the first superstar to leave the club. I feel like at the end of season 10, maybe season 11, he moves off, goes to a team in Europe, and we reap the rewards of a 50% sell on 5 years down the line when he's a reasonable footballer and we get £10 million for it. But Kwabena, I think, could be the first superstar playing for us. We also have Chevron Snag, a 21-year-old Vincentian central midfielder with 11 caps and 4 goals to his name. I don't know whether he can become Jamaican. He can. Okay. So Chevron Snag might not be too much of a concern. I was worried that he was going to be like a Haitian. There's no way of knowing whether players from St. Vincent and Grenada can actually become Jamaican until I sign one and find out that way. So Snag will hopefully become Jamaican in a few years' time. Not going to play for us at the moment. And a similar situation with Kevin Whitman, an 18-year-old Austrian. We have rebuilt the Austro-Jamaican connections once again to sign Kevin Whitman, an 18-year-old central midfielder. I've got high hopes for Whitman. Maybe Whitman could be here for a few seasons. 5-star potential ability. We still, by the way, after 10 seasons or 9 and a bit seasons, we have not had anybody come to the club and become Jamaican. It's going to happen at some point. If we have a look at the squad, we have now got Kwabena, we have Strabic, we have Urseg, we have Martinez, we have Ramirez, we have Hernandez. We've got quite a few players in the club. Oh no, I say Hernandez, sorry, Hernandez. He's already Jamaican. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the club at the moment, and we also have the Armenian guy and the St. Vincent guy as well, who could become Jamaican. I think Stravic maybe have been here the longest, so he's got 1,200 days left to go. Martinez has been here for quite a while as well. He's awaiting paperwork. We might have our first Jamaican. It's not as exciting because he's from Central America anyway, from Aruba, but we might have our first Jamaican convert, and he's not going to get Jamaica caps. What about Miller Ramirez? He's 26. He's got 842 days left to go. Urseg, he's 23 and unhappy. He's got 1,000 days left to go. And then obviously Kwabena has literally just joined the club, so he's going to have 5 years left to go. Let's just confirm that. Yeah, he's been here for 57 days. Anyway, the season has kicked off. Well, the Caribbean Cup has kicked off at the very least. We have one match played, winning against Real Rincon 5-2. Real Rincon are a team from Bonaire, apparently. The fact that we conceded twice against a semi-professional side from Bonaire is kind of concerning. Hope International are from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have Pantoja from Dominican Republic and Defence Force from Trinidad and Tobago in our group. I will show you this very quickly. We have locked in some players. We locked in Urseg, mainly because he wasn't our number one goalkeeper last season, and he got annoyed with it. So we're locking him in to be our number one. And we are doing what I said last season. When he came through the youth intake, I said, I've got high hopes for Buckner. We're going to put our money where our mouth is, and we're going to lock him in. So far, he has played that one Caribbean Cup game and did get an assist. We might see a Jamaican superstar in the shape of Alwyn Buckner coming through the ranks over the next few seasons. Anyway then, that is how the season has kicked off. We're going to jump forward to the other side of Christmas. The window will be open for additional transfers, and hopefully we'll be top of the table. We'll have won the Caribbean Cup once again, and everything will be right in the world. We have once again won the Caribbean Cup, this time Arnett Gardens of Jamaica were the team that we faced in the final, beating them 4-2, and also, what is that, a 2-1 victory as well, away from home? It's not technically away from home, is it? So we are through to the North American Champions League. We are also top of the Jamaican Premier Division with 12 wins out of 12, 36 points on the board, and they are very, very good wins, a positive 40 goal difference. I will check, actually, Urseg, how many goals have you conceded? You've let in 5. You've kept 8 clean sheets in 12 games. That's a lot of clean sheets to be keeping. Also, you can see Stravic's top goal scorer, but Buckner is number 3 in the average rating. He's actually number 1 for the assist as well. How is he getting on? Lots and lots of green arrows going up. Oh, this could be exciting. This could genuinely be exciting. Maybe Buckner could be our first big sale. Maybe we've got ourselves a superstar Jamaican footballer in the shape of Buckner. Probably a little bit too early to tell, but am I getting too excited? Yes, I am. I have just noticed as well the competition reputation. This needs to change, doesn't it? This needs to change. People would rather play in the Mexican Expansion League, which is the second division in Mexico, the Canadian Premier Division, and the Guatemalan and Honduras Premier Divisions, which is obviously kind of not concerning, but I want to be ahead of those. I want to be in the top 4. I feel like getting past Costa Rica might be a struggle. If we ever get on par with the MLS, that's the dream. Beating Mexico, obviously, is kind of where we would love to be, but I feel like in order to do that, it's going to take maybe 50 to 60 seasons, which might be a little bit too many seasons to actually do. Anyway, transfer window is open. We technically do have budget and wage budget to spend. I don't know whether we're actually going to do this, however. Oh, I completely forgot to mention as well, at the start of the season, 3 players left on permanent deals after their contract expired. Our number 1 goalkeeper, Daniel Russell, was one of them. Ricardo Gaynor, another player who was actually really, really good for us, a real-life player as well. He did not want to sign a new deal, and he's left and moved over to Cavalier. And also, Jadoni Muir, who I think played a few matches for us as well, so he's also left on a permanent deal. Not ideal, but I think we're starting to get in some youth players who can start to fill those gaps, but also we have some other players like Ikwabenas who I think are just going to be miles better than players like Jadoni Muir. It's also Gerondi Muir, but it's fine. He's not a real man. Well, the transfer window has been and gone. The window is closed and we have done literally no business, apart from this man going out on loan to a team called Progressive. We've done nothing, okay? I didn't think I was going to do much anyway, because obviously we don't have the money. Yes, we have the budgets and such, but we don't have the money in the bank. So I didn't see the point in making us more financially insecure just for the sake of kind of trying to bring in a few extra faces. So we've kept things as they are, and that is partially because we are still top of the table. We have lost a match against Arnott Gardens, but we have now won 15 out of 16, 45 points on the board. The North American Champions League will be beginning soon. We go in at round 2 up against LA Galaxy or Monterrey. Let's just check the facilities. 27,000 capacity for LA Galaxy, and Monterrey, I imagine, are going to be having a massive stadium. 52,000 capacity. I'd like to play Monterrey, and then we can actually see if we get past Monterrey, Vancouver, Seattle, America. Obviously, we'll take America. If we get past America, we're definitely aiming a little bit too high here. Atlanta United, I think that's a big stadium, isn't it? Yeah, that's a massive stadium. We'll have that one. And then in the final, I imagine the final's going to be played at a particular stadium, so it shouldn't really matter. And if it's not, then I'd play Pumas of Mexico, maybe. I mean, admittedly, there's a lot of these teams that are going to have massive stadiums, so it shouldn't really matter by the time we get there, assuming we get there. I did say I'm going to shoot to try and win everything, and so far we are on track. We've won the Caribbean Cup, we're in the JFF Cup semi-final, top of the table, and in the North American Champions League. So the quadruple is still on. Let's jump forward and find out whether it is still on when we hit about April time. First of all, the Jamaican Premier League is most certainly still on. We have technically won the league, but not won the league. 71 points this time around, which I believe is now a record. Last season I thought it was a record, and it wasn't. This should now be a record. 23 wins, 2 draws, just that one defeat to our name. Stravic, top goal scorer. Leo Campbell, second. And Buckner in third. And we've still got a few more games to play. Buckner also has the highest average rating and the highest assists. End of the season, when we take a look at Buckner, I feel like we're going to be in for a lovely little treat. In the JFF Cup, we are into the final up against Via United. Obviously, the last couple of seasons, or last season, we were in the final, but did actually lose against Mount Pleasant FC, so I'd like to actually win it this time around. And in the North American Champions League, unfortunately, we did not get through to the semi-final, which is where we currently are. However, Arnott Gardens did. I don't know how. We're going to scroll back. So we lost to Seattle on away goals. Arnott Gardens smashed Saprissa. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. A team from Costa Rica getting absolutely battered by a team from Jamaica. In the second round, we beat LA Galaxy. That's big. That's a big result as well. So, Arnott Gardens were obviously from Jamaica. I think only 2 Jamaican sides actually made it through, didn't they? Maybe somewhere in the first round. I'm not going to look through that list, but I mean, I guess the way to find out is actually to see who kind of did well in the Caribbean Cup. But it doesn't really matter because we've all been knocked out apart from Arnott Gardens, who are in the semi-final, so we will take a look. I think I said a couple of seasons ago I'll see who got to the final and when it wasn't a Mexican or an American side, and it looks like it's Saprissa. So we've had a non-American side in the final for the first time since technically ever, because we're going to include Montreal Impact as an American side. We're going to include Toronto as an American side because they play in the MLS. So last season, obviously, from our youth intake, we had a couple of very good players. In particular, we've got Alwyn Buckner, who is starting to make a name for himself in the Jamaican Premier League. This time around, we've got 4 players at the top who've got reasonably high potential. So we'll take a look. We have Anjuan Neufville, might be his name. Central midfielder. He's all right. He could be okay. Decent technical. Mentally, he's not massively great there, but he does have professional personality, which apparently is a good thing. I don't really know much about personalities in this game or in real life, to be honest. Jesus Stewart, a 16-year-old Jamaican defence midfielder. Decent mental numbers, but technically lets him down. Could be one for the future, so we'll keep an eye on him. We have Nicholas Welcome, who is a right back who looks absolutely rubbish. He's got 4.5-star potential, and I'm not seeing where that's coming from. But he is only 15, so maybe we'll keep an eye on old Nicky Welcome. See if we can welcome him into the first team. And Marvin Clark, another 15-year-old right winger this time. 4-star potential again, much like Nicholas Welcome, not seeing a huge amount there. But he's a child. These are two literal 15-year-olds. Anyway, let's jump forward then to the end of the season. Will we win the JFF Cup and the Jamaican Premier League? It's going to have to happen at some point. But it's not this time. It's not this time. We've not won the league. Again, Cavalier win the league. Now, when I show you where Cavalier finished in the table, if you didn't remember from earlier, you're going to be surprised because they finished in 6th place. They barely made it into the playoff rounds, and they finished in 6th place. They knocked us out, beating us 3-2 in the semi-final, and then winning at 3-1 in the final. We are never, ever going to win this competition. We've won it once. We've won it once, and we've literally gone undefeated in one of those seasons, and we still haven't won the league. It's ridiculous. One thing that we have won, though, is the JFF Cup. Buckner with the ball, plays it across the Walters with a bit of an injury, goes for goal. It's an awful goalkeeping from Williams in the V United goal, but we pick up the nice 1-0 victory. In fact, Buckner did have a penalty missed late on in the game as well. I say late on, actually, in the 36th minute. We probably should have won this by more than one goal, because we did have a 4.11 XG, 31 shots, 13 of them on target. The V United goalkeeper Williams, despite the fact he let in that absolutely appalling effort from Walters, did get himself a gigantic 8.3 rating. 8.5 rating, sorry, I'm an idiot. So at least we've won, technically we've won the double, haven't we? We've technically won the double. In the North American Champions League, the final was Arnett Gardens. Arnett Gardens got to the final of the North American Champions League. We have nothing to do with this either, right? We are not involved. None of these are like former players of ours. So you've got Timar Mack, an 18-year-old, scoring 2 in the North American Champions League final. Also, Peter Christie, a 20-year-old as well, scoring in the North American Champions League final. But unfortunately, a 94th minute winner from Sealy. They had 2 penalties. Arnett Gardens should have won. They genuinely should have won. If they stopped giving away penalties, they would have won this. Well, that is kind of a turn up for the books. I was not expecting Arnett Gardens to be the first Jamaican side in the North American Champions League final. I was expecting it to be us, but it was not to be. Let's take a very quick look then at some of the players. So goals scored. We are sorted by 32 goals for Leo Campbell. That's very good. Has he been playing up front? Yes, he has. Okay, so Campbell has been the man to replace Edison. Strabic, I assume then, surely he's been playing maybe on the right wing? He's still got a lot of goals. But has he been playing on the right wing instead? Yes. Okay, so that's where Strabic is getting his goals. Buckner as well. 18 goals, 23 assists. He's looking good. He's 2-star current, or 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. Alwayne Buckner might be our first superstar. He might be our first superstar. We've also got Kaheem Dixon, who's unhappy because he wants to start more games, has scored 12 goals. We've also got Kwabena. He's got 10 goals as well to his name, playing on that left-hand side. I like Kwabena. Kwabena's good. I've just realised as well, no, Martinez, he's Jamaican. He's got his paperwork. We've got our first convert to the Jamaican nationality. He's never going to play for the Jamaican national side because he is obviously 51 caps deep into an Aruban career. But we have got our first convert. We are hopefully going to have some others as well, like Strabic, Kwabena. We've got Miller Ramirez. We've got Whitman. We've also got Urseg. So we've got a whole bunch of players who might become Jamaican as well in a few years' time. Obviously, quite a few of them. Still a few years away from that yet. So Season 10 was kind of another not so good season. Actually, I want to have a look financially. We've got a bit more money. So we did bring in a bunch of cash from our North American Champions League once again. Actually, more from this season than we did get last season, which is nice. But we are teetering on the edge of the negative values there. We didn't win anything really. We did win the Cup. We did win the Caribbean Cup. But we didn't win the Jamaican Premier League again. 10 seasons, we have won it once, but we have finished top of the table probably about 7 of them. It is certainly a few. That is 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. We have technically been good enough to win the league, but we haven't won the league. It's ridiculous. Or we've won it once, technically, haven't we? It's ridiculous. Season 11, maybe that's the time where we're going to actually win the league.